look, you can talk as much as you want about DJ not getting the job done, and I completely agree with you. He did not get the job done. He did not, I mean, just frankly, he sucked tonight. DJ was absolutely terrible tonight. The offense was terrible tonight. The offensive line could not protect him. He got sacked numerous times. He held onto the ball. He looked hesitant. The run game looked abysmal tonight. The defense, as much as we talked about coming into the game, we talked about the defense being able to key on Notre Dame's run game. That's what we talked about. We knew Notre Dame would come in. They wanted to run the ball. They had a quarterback that they didn't exactly trust in the passing game to push the ball downfield. And for whatever reason, it didn't matter. They were still able to run the ball against this Clemson defense. Why do you think they were able to run the ball against this Clemson defense?
Well, one, poor tackling. That was the thing that stood out to me, first and foremost. I mean, yes, they got pushed. They got pushed up front, but it was especially when they would. Especially when they would get Estime and Diggs and Tyree, when they would make that first contact, they wouldn't bring them down, and they were churning their feet. They were getting extra yardage after contact, and that was a huge difference. Just a lack of physicality from the defensive line, and the second level, with finishing tackles and all that. It was just a very, very soft. I guess that's the best way to describe it. It was a very soft performance from the defense. It's hard. They did what they the performance, especially in the first half, was good enough. They only gave up 7 points on offense in the first half. That should have been good enough if the offense had been even remotely competent to have a lead. But you could tell as the game wore down, the confidence, the fire, the physicality, that all of that went out the window. And Notre Dame, Notre Dame kept punching, and Clemson just kind of whimpered and just huddled up in the corner and took the beating.
Clemson really did not have any sort of answer for Notre Dame tonight. And what was your take on the Clemson offense approach this game? What hindered Clemson's offense the most, and why could we not move the ball? Like, at the end of the day, we have a really good running game in the Clemson offense. At least we have in the past. We had it last season when we had a terrible offense and a really good defense. We had a terrible offense last season. But the one thing that came out of last season is that we could run the ball. And it seemed that tonight we could not run the ball. What was the reason that we could not run the ball tonight? Was it that we just didn't try, or what was your take on us not being able to literally man up and say our Joes are better than your Joes, and we're just going to run the ball? Why was that not the case tonight for Clemson versus Notre Dame?
Well, it was just a simple matter of allowing Notre Dame to dictate to you what you're going to do on offense, and that's exactly what Notre Dame did. It was just from the coordinator level to the players themselves. They allowed themselves to be dictated to. Brandon Streeter was. I mean, the way that the game was called, it was clear that Clemson just was not gonna make an effort to run the ball between the tackles, make Notre Dame respect it. The offensive line did not get pushed.
No.
Rare times they
were getting
did.
blown up early on in the game.
Right, and so when you allow an opposing defensive coordinator to dictate to you what you're going to do on offense, that's you're playing right into their hands. And Notre Dame just said, well, you can't run on us, and we're not going to respect that. We're not going to respect that part of your game, and we're going to sit back. Your receivers aren't going to beat us over the top. Notre Dame's secondary played a phenomenal game in coverage. The only real, yardage that Clemson got passing the ball was off of, penalties, some of which were bad calls. And so, they were referee assisted. So Notre Dame's,
Absolutely.
secondary was just, they played really well, blanketed the receivers. The receivers lacked physicality. And so when you have, a threat of a passing game and Notre Dame is not really respecting your run game, what are you going to do? And it's because you played so soft, you called the game so soft, and allowed Notre Dame to dictate to you what you were going to do. It made you one-dimensional, and it made you stagnant, and you weren't able to, you weren't able to move the ball pretty much the entire game until it didn't matter. So that was, that's the story of the game. Clemson was dictated to on both sides of the ball, but particularly on offense.